to this life. And oftentimes, I find myself in a situation where I do the best to my ability on a project or some work that I have to do. I put in the best, and after the event has passed or the project is done, there's this feeling that keeps on going through my mind. You could have done more, and I keep telling myself, what could I have done better? And I play the scene over and over and over again. Your mental wellness coach, you've written the book Mental Wellness for the Information Age. You've had a lot of experience in your life with regard to all of this. What do you think makes that phrase, you could have done more, so emotionally triggering for many people like me today?
Hello, everyone. Good morning. It's good to be here. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, so that we know it's a global thing. But
Yeah.
this phrase, you could have done more, often strikes a nerve because it attacks a person's sense of self-worth and effort. Just like you rightly said, that after you have completed a project, sometimes you think, did I really do did I put in my best? Did I do as much as I expect? Or if we take it a step further, some people or someone, your boss, can say you could have done more. Or even other issues, not necessarily, it doesn't really have to be the work. It could just be life in itself. And somebody tells you, you could have done better in that situation. It's like a
Yeah.
punch to the guts because it pokes at two deep fears, your failure and inadequacy. It's like the person is telling you, or the people are saying, or your boss is telling you, or you are also talking to yourself negatively and saying, I have failed, I am inadequate. So in a world full of constant demands and high expectations, many people already feel overwhelmed, yet they are doing their best. But that feel, that feeling of overwhelm is there because the phrase you could have done more just says that, I mean, there's a shortfall. You haven't done the best you could have done, or that you are not enough. And that's why I advocate people should affirm themselves, speak positive words to yourself, engage in affirmations, because those words feel like a personal attack and it depresses if care is not taken, except you have already built yourself up to a level that whatever people say, you don't allow it to touch your heart, it just bounces off your skin. And I would say a better approach to such is to recognize what has been done before and then suggesting what could be improved upon. We should be cautious because words have power. And whatever we say to people, we never know how they will take it. We never know how they will react. Some people have said something that led others into depression. And depression is such a dark space that nobody would want to be. So we rise higher when we feel valued, not shamed. So let us be uh, cautious of how we use our words. Thank you.
And you also talked about having realistic expectations in your book. Sometimes we set standards that are really unrealistic. We've been talking over this series about how we go on social media and see people at a curated standard, and we think that that's real life, and then we project it to ourselves. So it also creates the same feeling of you could have done more. Look at what the other person is doing. Comparison that
Sure,
you're talking about.
sure.
If you're watching this live and you missed it please go and watch the previous ones. We delve deeper into it. So, how can someone begin to identify that this is an unrealistic expectation and then release those unrealistic standards that they've set for themselves?
Yeah. Start by asking yourself, whose voice set this bar? You know, it's when you live your life or live your life comparing yourself to other people, that's where the headache comes. That's where the unnecessary stress takes over. Whose voice sets the bar? Is it my voice or someone else's? Who am I listening to? Whose report, like we say in Christendom, whose report do you believe? Do you believe God's report or your own report or someone else's report? Whose voice is setting the standard that you are holding so dear to your heart? You know, so when people say, Toyin, you should do it this way, most times I ask, excuse me, why? Why can't others do it the way I am doing it? I don't have to follow your standard. Follow mine. If you cannot set a bar for yourself, then follow me. I don't necessarily have to follow you because I have to think through to know that what you are saying is actually, meets my values. If they don't meet my values, I don't have to follow you, you know? And then I don't even know who you are, what you are doing. I can't just follow you blindly. So self-reflection is the first step. Observe your internal dialogue. What are you telling yourself? Build yourself up positively because unrealistic standards, they sneak in from comparison, past criticism, or perfectionism. And like we have said on this our series, the episodes that we have run, we have said that we should ditch perfectionism. It helps no one. It stunts growth. So I would say write your goals down, write what you are thinking about, write them down, then challenge each one. Write whatever people say, put them down so that you can really know what you are comparing yourself to, if it is real or if it is just based on other people's issues. Because some people want to even drag you into their chaos and then they tell you this is how it is done. Even in organizations, if you are new in an organization or you just move from one department to the other, some people will come forward and tell you, this is how we do it here. If it is not written in the policies of the organization, why bother? Why bother? Why don't you just get the policies and procedure and read yourself? We have a problem in Africa. We don't like to read, but the policies are there. Why don't you read it? Why don't you be guided by what the organization wants than listening to what people say? Hearsays just put people in trouble, not only physically or what within the organization, but within their system. Because when they're at work, you just be snapping at people anyhow. It's because the pressure you are putting on yourself is way beyond what you can take. So replace impossible goals with realistic, flexible ones that will leave space for you to rest and even to make mistakes. Because there's a reason why a pencil has erasers. Even our pens these days have erasers if you know where to get them. So mistakes are not, they don't say you are foolish. No, we all make mistakes. The best is not to sit with those mistakes, is to correct and move forward. So know what you are doing. Celebrate your progress. Celebrate your wins, no matter how small. Nobody is scoring you. Nobody is looking at you and saying, yeah, perfect. This is perfectly done. You got a perfect score. No, live your life. Live your life. Set your standard. Reevaluate and adjust your aspiration. Nothing is cast in stones. If you try one, it's not working, dump it and try and refine it and do it better. Check your standards. Losing your grip on unrealistic standards, it just piles pressure. It doesn't help anyone. Doesn't help anyone. Some people will tell you, you hear all sorts now of young people who are collapsing because of high blood pressure. You wonder, that what is happening. Is it what exactly is it? Some have never even tasted drugs, yet they are falling, they are collapsing at very early ages. And then you wonder, why pile pressure on yourself? Why don't you just live your life peacefully? More like it.
Absolutely. And I also love that fact that you said, why do we have to subscribe to the other person's standard? Why don't they subscribe to our standard? And that really needs you to be self-aware, or aware of your calling, your mission, your vision, and super focused on what that is. And sometimes we get overwhelmed with so much work. You're trying so hard. There's so many things to juggle. As a mom of
Mm.
three, I know this all too well. You're trying to be a great wife, a great mom, great for yourself, great for the company. And you reach a point and you get overwhelmed and you feel like you're not doing good enough in all of these
Well,
areas. Absolutely. So, what role does rest and reflection play in countering the pressure to always do more?
rest and reflection are like pause button in a world that constantly whispers more, more, more. We are in a 24/7, always on world. But rest and reflection says pause. It's not a crime to rest. It's not a crime to rest, because rest gives your body the reset that it craves. It gives your body the reset that it craves, while reflection helps you to see if the extra doing aligns with your values. It's like you are doing a personal check on yourself. And please also know that rest is not a reward for hard work. It is a fundamental need. We need to get that right, because some people think when you rest, you are lazy. But no, it isn't. And rest does not necessarily mean sleep. It does not necessarily mean sleep, but you have to learn to rest and truly rest, not flipping through Netflix or scrolling through your phone and say you are resting. No, it is a fundamental need that allows our minds and our bodies to recover. It restores our energy. So it is very important. While reflection offers a very critical pause, so to enable us evaluate, that's the word, to enable us evaluate our priorities. I tell people, schedule your priorities so that you are not just over busy. You are not just there doing 1,000,001 things. At the end of the day, it's like you haven't done anything, but you are stressed. So reflection helps you to do that pause. It helps you to determine if your efforts are aligned with your values, as I said earlier. And without rest and reflection, you risk chasing tasks that look important, but they add little to whatever you are doing. They look important, but they add little. They mean little. Stepping back is not laziness, please. It's not laziness, it is wisdom. So let us be wise. Embrace self-compassion. Embrace self-compassion. Protect your energy so your focus can be sharpened. Rest and reflect. Very important.
I
Thank
had
you.
this client at some point, and I was trying to advise them to rest and to reflect. And they told me the reason why they find it hard and they want to constantly work, there are people that are addicted to working. They're called workaholics. They prefer to work, yes,
I
than
know
to
that.
be, silent and reflecting with themselves. And he told me the reason why is when he sits down to rest and to reflect, all the negative thoughts keep coming in. These thoughts we're talking about, oh, you should have done more, you're not good enough here, you're not good enough there. And in his reflections, those are the only things that are playing in his mind. So, how can someone speak to themselves in the moment of probably that rest and that meditation? How do they speak to themselves? Maybe if they're going through a failure, perceived failures, their challenges in their lives, how do they speak to themselves?
Yeah. In moments of perceived failure, it is crucial to shift from self-criticism to self-compassion. Self-compassion is really vital. Speak to yourself the way you would speak to your dear friend. A lot of us have us to say, oh, listen, I have this issue or I have that issue. Then we compassionately speak to our friends and help them through whatever challenge they have. But when we have challenges, even when people speak to us, if we have that opportunity, we refuse to speak to ourselves. And this is where positive self-talk comes. Yes, issues have happened, but they don't mean your end. They don't have to mean your end. You can recalibrate it. Learn to speak positively. Ditch negative self-talk. It's very important. Instead of saying, I am a failure, say, what can I learn from this? Something has happened. I mean, whatever it is has happened. You don't die there. You have to learn to get yourself up and move. The corporate world, there are there were promotion years when I know that I should have been promoted. But did I ever sit back to just say, oh, this is so sad? Why was I not promoted? Of course, it's painful, but here I am today. Here I am today, still living and still doing the best I can and the best I know that I am doing. And for some people, when they lose promotions like that, they just feel it's the end. Some people will even tell you there's no point remaining in this organization when you don't even have a job to go to and you are not visible online either. So you just have to learn to say, what can I learn from this situation? What next? So treat yourself with the same kindness that you would offer your friend. Don't be kind to others and unkind to yourself, because you also need that kindness. Acknowledge your feelings. I'm not saying be become supernatural. No, like I said, if I'm passed over for promotion, of course I will feel it. I don't have to break down in your presence. Sometimes I break down if I see that me understand what I'm talking about. I will shout and I will scream in the office or again. Why are you doing this to me again? But that venting helps me to be calm. By the time I'm going home, I'm already calm. When I get home and I tell my family this is the situation, no promotion again this year. Their reason, I don't know. But you just know that your life goes on. Remind yourself that one setback does not define your overall worth or your capabilities. It doesn't. So this practice of gentle, constructive self-talk helps you move past the sting of disappointment and enables you to focus on growth rather than shame. Focus on what is next, not what went wrong. Yes, it has gone wrong. Leave it in that wrong lane, reroute, follow another path. Because self-kindness fuels resilience far better than self-criticism ever will. Be kind to yourself.
Amazing. There's someone that's out there watching this. They've set their goals for this year and they are falling behind. They fail to achieve some of those goals. And as we come to the end of the year, they're probably beating themselves up and saying, you could have done more. What would you say to that
Hmm.
person today who feels like they've fallen behind or failing to meet their goals?
Falling behind is not the same as failing. Just like I said earlier, reroute, because it is just a different route to finish to the finish line. So take another route. I mean, if you fall behind, it doesn't mean you have failed. Your path is unique. So instead of comparing your journey to others, take a moment to acknowledge the effort you have put in and the lessons you have learned. Because it is one thing to go through an experience, it is another thing to learn from it. Don't waste your experiences. Learn from them. So as bricks to build your bridge to the next level. Life is not a race with a single clock. It's a journey with seasons. We have different seasons of life. Some seasons are for progress, some are for rest or recalibration. So don't beat yourself up. Your worth is not tied to checklists.
Wow. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for joining us on this live. So, if anybody out there is listening, I hope that this is going to be insightful to you. Thank you so much for
And
studying.
fresh starts can happen anytime.
Absolutely.
Fresh starts are not they're not age specific. Own your awesomeness. Own your awesomeness. Be at peace with yourself. Show yourself kindness. Thank you.
All right. We've reached the end of our stream. And thank you so much. And we're glad we had you today. For those that are watching this, remember to be kind to yourself. Till next time.